Welcome to the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast. Pull up a chair and kick up your feet as you get ready to enjoy some of the industry's most entertaining and actionable Dynasty content on the planet. We're talking veterans, rookies, sleepers, and oh yeah, you know the crew has those dad jokes ready for you. So let's not wait any longer and bring on the host or some combination of Doug and Tyler.
Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour. We are live and in effect. I am here with my co-host, Tyler Gunther. How are you, Tyler?
I'm great. How are you?
I am swell, actually.
I mean, you've been a part of it. I decided in one league, one of my favorite leagues, UDPL, that, you know what? I'm in the middle. I don't want to be in the middle. So I'm just going to be at the end. So I decided to rebuild, 2 weeks before season starts. And it's been fun. It's been fun. This is what I love about Dynasty. And you know what else is fun? Hot takes. I've been seeing them all around, and hot takes are everywhere.
It's true. And now they're going to be here. So why not? And thank you for filling us in as well on your UDPL strategy, which also aligns with your human centipede strategy. So
yes,
thank you for that.
I mean, the front's not that fun. What's so fun about the front? You got to be.
I'm a multitasker, so I feel like being in the middle somewhere is probably where I was meant to be.
Doug's the middleman.
You have ADHD. You can't handle it.
No, put me in the back or front.
Yeah, I'll put you in the back or front. I'll man the middle. We're good. Yes, we're going to go over some hot takes. We've got some player news. There's been some big news just in the last 24 hours in the Dynasty space, so we're going to bring that to you as well. And as a special guest, you may know him. He's not Jersey Mike's, which makes a solid sub, by the way.
Yeah,
he's not Atlantic City. He's not the Jersey Shore, but he is James Kreiss, FF Chef, former co-host, is back in the building. He's here to give us some takes as good as his Evan Engram one from last year. Can he top it? I don't know, but we're going to find out today. James, how the hell are you?
Good to be back on the Dynasty Happy Hour. What's up, fellas?
What up? I am excited for this episode. I've got all my takes written down, but before we get to those, I do want to cover some player news. Hopefully Tyler will be able to chime in once he starts paying attention to what's going on. That would be
great. I had to share all this. Sharing's caring, Doug.
Yeah, sharing the information with me at the top of the podcast would have been great. So obviously
Tyler,
I don't care all that much.
Just to make sure, I did read your post-it note of a show sheet, okay?
We don't have show sheets. We're professionals, James.
Gotcha.
I actually wrote my notes in a show sheet. So
I was wondering who took over that lumberous job of writing the show sheet.
Nobody.
Show sheet. Yeah, apparently.
Show street.
We'll knock the rust off you, James. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some news. The big news. You know what? If you drafted this quarterback in the top 5, 6, 7 of your Dynasty Superflex rookie drafts thinking he's got Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson's coming back, he's got Addison, Aaron Jones, he is set up for success in year one. Well, unfortunately, J.J. McCarthy is going to miss year one. He is the first quarterback taken in the first round that will miss his entire rookie season since like 65 years or something like that. So the Vikings, it's Sam Darnold season. Maybe they make a move at quarterback here as the roster cutdowns come. Maybe Ryan Tannehill fills in behind Sam Darnold, but it is the standard Sam Darnold syndrome from Incredibles is taking over the Minnesota Vikings for the season. Tyler, this had to pain you as a Minnesota Vikings fan.
I mean, I actually didn't mind it because I didn't want to see him year one. I want him to sit. He's just turned 21. He can do well with sitting. So now instead of playing his way on the field, because that is what he's doing, like he was playing his way on the field the way he played week one. Now he's kind of like forcefully sitting down on the bench because he has to, but this is good for him. Like Anthony Richardson interview, he got injured, 4 games in the last year. He had an interview and he even said, he goes, I tried to look at it on the bright side, and he's like, I learned a lot from it. He goes, I actually learned a lot from sitting, and he's like, I kind of looked at it in a positive way, and I got to learn the other side of playing football. And so maybe JJ McCarthy can learn from it and get better mentally. We all know physically he'll be fine. Irv Smith came back from it, so he's fine. But
Using Irv Smith as an example.
yes,
Did he
no.
really come back?
Yeah, who knows? Where is he? Who knows?
He's in Kansas
Carmen
City.
San Diego. Carmen San Diego. Yeah. So I am not worried about it. And if, like I said, if you expected really anything from him this year when you drafted him, I think you had a bunch of hopium, as we'll say here.
Well,
Yeah,
I definitely used the hopium when I was in Scott Fishbowl this year, taking him as my third quarterback late.
I know someone in my division took him as their second quarterback in round 6.
Well, that's dumb.
So
he was like
that's gonna
he's
hurt.
like 104, 105 in rookie drafts, and
Yeah.
usually if you're on that range, you're kind of a middling team, so you probably weren't looking to have JJ McCarthy be the one person to give you that boost. So maybe you'll be picking early again next year in a good running back and wide receiver draft again. So I mean, it's pretty much like having a rookie.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously it stinks, if you drafted him and we're hoping for him to play this year. And in other Minnesota Vikings news, it looks like Jordan Addison has avoided a scary injury. He was carted off with an ankle injury, but it looks like he's going to be okay. So that is good to hear. There's been a lot of that this preseason. Tyrone Tracy of the Giants was carted off. Aircast, and then he's like, nah, I'm in team meetings later on in the day. Just a sprained ankle. He looks to be okay. So there's been a lot of those kind of scary injuries where they're not really a big deal. Another one was Mark Andrews got into a minor car accident before practice today. It appears that he is going to be all right as well. Serious injuries have really just been Marshawn Lloyd. There's no timetable for him to return with the hamstring issue. And then Jahmyr Gibbs should be ready for week 1 after tweaking his hamstring a little bit. I am a little concerned, though, because he keeps tweaking his hamstring, and he's an explosive player. So that's something to keep an eye on. And, I really like David Montgomery's current Dynasty ranks is what I'm saying. He's a very acquirable piece very cheaply that could pay off huge. So we might talk a little bit more about him later, possibly, in our Hot Takes episode. And then the only other note I have for players is Matthew Stafford is nursing a hamstring injury. They need him pretty badly. If the Rams can stay healthy, they will be very, very good this year.
Can I tell? I still like Stetson Bennett. I don't care if he threw four picks. It's a preseason game. Did you see that game-winning touchdown throw? It was to the left. I
still have him on my taxi squads.
I still really enjoy Stetson Bennett, and I'm happy he's back.
Talk about hopium.
Yeah. Hey, we're all filled with it. That's what these hot takes are for.
I take the hopium from the puppy.
Him and Spencer Rattler are the two that I kind of hope become something.
There you go. So that's all I got for
Desmond Ridder.
Player news. We still have some players that are sitting out, hold-ins, if you will. CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase. They're kind of playing dick chicken of who's going to get paid first. And it doesn't look like CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, and
where do you think I want to get your guys' takes. Where do you think he's going to go? Do you think he's staying or do you think he's getting traded?
I think he gets traded.
I think he's going to stay.
I don't think they brought in Pierre Saul.
Pierre Saul?
Pierre Saul. You got to
don't call Pierre Saul.
Isn't that like a three?
Better call Pierre Saul.
Syllable names.
I'm
like Lysol,
sure like
Pierre Saul.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's a cleaning product, James. Pierre Saul.
Just pick him up and make sure San Francisco's nice and clean, buddy. He's cleaning up that Ayuk with his Pierre Saul.
And then Debo is gone in the offseason.
So
they can't keep them both, I don't think.
So Ayuk apparently is close to an extension, but there is a framework of a deal that has gone down. Doug, I just acquired Roman Wilson from you, and another hopium is that he is a part of the Ayuk trade.
Oh, yeah.
Because they wanted George Pickens, and I thought, okay, they're not going to go for Van Jefferson. They need a receiver back. It's the whole reason why Cleveland had Amari Cooper in there. And
do they really
Patriots
need a receiver back, though?
Yeah, because their depth behind, like Pearsall's having
is solid.
Yeah, but Pearsall's having shoulder issues throughout the whole entire
Jacob
training
Cowing.
camp. He's been hurt. Like that. Yeah, it's the 49ers offseason. Everybody's hurt, and it looks like the Vikings
that get cut off rosters they could pick up. I feel.
Yeah, like I think Corey Davis is still out there.
Yeah, I mean that tryout with Buffalo.
Yeah, as the Brock Purdy, somebody who has him in a league, I really hope Ayuk stays, or they do get a receiver in return. But yeah, I'm actually leaning more towards getting traded.
We shall see. It'll be an interesting one.
They'll go out and pick up like a Chase Claypool or something like that.
He's on IR now, so he's done.
The Giants just made a trade with the Cowboys.
Really? What was it?
Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle. Giants are trading him to the Cowboys.
Oh.
Not related to Wilson Phillips.
You got to hold on for one more day. And we're going to hold on for one more thing before we get into hot takes. What about Matt Judon becoming an Atlanta Falcon?
It's a classic
third-round pick.
It's a classic Falcon Patriot trade where I feel like the Falcons gave up too much for, in my opinion,
an older one-year player.
Yep, and good on the Patriots. I mean, I thought that was good.
They're not winning anything this year. Why would you keep them?
For me, Raheem Morris, he needs to win quickly to prove himself because he's already an interim coach, and I think he feels the weight on his shoulders with Kirk Cousins. And I mean, 2 years of Judon, maybe 10 to 12 sacks. They haven't had somebody.
Well, he's
like
got 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah, they haven't had a pass rusher like this in a long time. Like Vic Beasley that 1 year, the 1 year wonder.
1 year.
Fool me once. God.
Yeah, he was not good after that. All right, let's roll into some hot takes. We'll go around the horn here. We'll start with me, then we'll go to Tyler, and then we'll go to James. He's our guest, so we save the best for last.
I don't know
the best hot take we had all last year was his Evan Ingram one. So that one hit the closest and was
2 years.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's the best, one of the best hot takes we've ever had on the show, and it was amazing. So we will let James he'll be the caboose in this human centipede, Tyler. That's usually reserved for you, but we'll allow it this time.
Does that mean I get the front, or do you want?
I get the front this time. So, but it's okay. We're not playing for realsies.
I got to work the middle. Oh, we'll see how this goes.
Work the middle, change positions. Who's saying that? I don't even know. Cassie? If I just pulled that out of my ass, then congrats to me. No, I think it was Cassie. Anywho,
Cassie,
one of those early 2000.
She dated P. Diddy. She was on Bad Boy Records early. Yeah.
Sorry,
James,
this is a P. Diddy free
you got
podcast.
Time. Google that. Google if Cassie's saying that. I think it's called.
I don't have any hands for that.
All right, let's get into it. We've lost everybody.
All right, my first hot take. I've got one for each position and then a few for tight end because you know what? Tight end is my thing. That's my bread and butter, my pride and joy. So I've got a few for that. If we have time, if not a big deal. Mine are pretty brief and to the point. I'm not going to sit here and argue. I'm just going to bring it to you rugged and raw. All right, at quarterback, my first hot take of the 2024 season is that Dakota Prescott will finish outside the top 12 at quarterback this year. He finished, I believe, at QB6 last year, had a phenomenal season. The Cowboys led the league in points. Their offense was awesome. But guess what? They have Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle at running back. That, to me, is a minus compared to Tony Pollard last year. Tony Pollard, if you remember, finished really strong once he was healthy. So I think teams are going to be able to sit back on their heels and wait for the pass this year. And I think Dak has some issues at quarterback when it comes to processing and feeling pressure. You're going to be able to bring the pressure onto Dak, and the defense is going to be able to sit back on their heels and play the pass. Because I think, honestly, the way that they're constructed right now, the Cowboys are going to pass it a lot, like 70% of the time. Now, we all know the CeeDee Lamb thing's going on right now. Yeah. Will he sign? Probably. But if he doesn't, big problems because their wide receiver depth is Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, who's been getting pumped up in camp, and then a bunch of guys you've probably never heard of unless you've heard of Ryan Flournoy and you're a nerd like us, so welcome in. And then they have Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot. So it would not surprise me, and the line isn't as good as last year either. They lost Tyron Smith at left tackle. They're going to have lots of issues. I think the Cowboys are a big candidate for regression when it comes to fantasy points across the board, and that includes CeeDee Lamb. But for me, Dak Prescott is going to finish outside the top 12 at quarterback, and I'm sure of this.
So I don't mind the take, but going back to the line, Tyron Smith didn't play much, and they had trouble with the right side. I think they're actually solidifying their line a little more. It's younger. Tyler Guyton has had a really good camp from everything I'm hearing. And it's more the middle of the line I'm worried about, which, you get pressure from inside. It really disrupts the pocket. Dak hasn't been a big runner. And I think it all is like, okay, CD missing all this time. How in game shape is CD. I don't think he wouldn't be in game shape, but it takes a little bit to knock the rust off. Even Nick Bosa coming in last year after missing all the training camp was very rusty, and he even admitted, hey, missing camp was a big issue for him, and having a slow start. So, I don't mind the stake. And Dak's one of those players where you feel like, he's due for a kind of down season.
And Tyron Smith played 13 games last year, so he was on the field the majority of the time.
I mean, all of them.
I don't know.
All right,
but he played the majority.
I'm just going in order that I wrote these in.
Oh boy.
And all right, my first one. Keon Coleman rises in the Drake London area and joins the top 15 wide receiver ranks after his 2024 season. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have an insane season. Like Drake London didn't have a crazy season, but the hype is there. He showed, even with Desmond Ridder, Drake London showed like, okay, this dude can be elite if he has a quarterback. Now he has a quarterback, so everybody's putting that onto the ranking. I think Keon Coleman's going to be the same. He's going to show enough this season that we're going to be like, okay, this guy is going to take the next step. And we have him in the top 15 now. I think him and Drake London are going to be very close together for their careers, as in like, okay, pick between these two. They're young, bigger receivers. If you like that type of receiver, these are your two options. They don't really create much separation, but they're big game catches. Like, yeah, you know what I mean. So that is my first hot take, is that he will be in the top 15 receivers come 2025.
So he's currently ranked on DLF as wide receiver 43 on the season.
Yeah.
That's not startup, that's just rank. So you think he's going to
jump to where Drake London is?
Wow, that's a big jump. That is a hot take.
That is a big jump because Drake London is currently wide receiver 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and they're like, I was thinking this. Everybody knocks Keon Coleman for separation and the speed. Drake London didn't run a 40, and nobody's worried about it. His game is not separation. His game is what Keon Coleman is, but everybody's comfortable with Drake London because...
Keon Coleman reminds me, side note, I was just thinking this in my head as you were talking. Keon Coleman reminds me a little bit of is Cortland Sutton. But he's got more athleticism.
Marshall.
I think he's more Brandon Marshall than Sutton. Sutton, I never really saw the...
Wait, you actually agreed with me? Yes. I've been gone for 3 months and I come back and you agreed with me?
Because Keon Coleman, like his arm length is insane. His reach is crazy and his hands are so strong. Like Cortland Sutton, I think is just... Jesus. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to stick with this. Keon Coleman is very undervalued right now, and people are kind of he's one of those players where you're either on him or you're off of him. And I think by the end of this year, people are going to be wishing they were on him more, especially Florida State fans, Doug.
Hey, easy. I like a good Florida State guy.
I'm a Florida State fan. All right, James. Hot take number one.
Hot take
Warm
number
it up
one.
for us.
All right.
Warm it up.
We all know Green Bay got a new running back, right?
Yeah. They got two new running backs, technically.
Yeah, technically. And I'm not talking about either one of them because they have the hardest running back schedule of the season throughout the league and one of the easiest strength of schedules for the receivers. Ooh. Making my first hot take, Jaden Reed, who is currently Dynasty ADP wide receiver 33, finishing as a top 12 fantasy wide receiver this season.
Wow. I don't mind that. Right.
There's been reports coming out of camp that Reed is fulfilling his destiny as the team's leader. He usurped Christian Watson last year. He ran with Dontavian Wicks. He ran with Romeo Doubs, and he just seems to be the guy they want to get the ball in his hands. Yes, he's not on the field 100% of the time, but he doesn't need to be. When he's on the field, he's getting hyper-targeted. Therefore, that translates very, very well. I think Jordan Love is going to have a miraculous season. And if he wasn't already ranked as high as he was after Tyler's hot take last year on him, I would probably have thrown my chips in that pot this year as well. But yeah, there you go. Jaden Reed, top 12 wide receiver for fantasy this season.
I like it. I could see it, in that kind of like Shanahan-y type of offense that they run. in Green Bay. Jaden Reed really kind of fits that Deebo Samuel role. They give him carries out of the backfield. You know, he's running shorter routes, but he has the explosiveness to take the ball and go. He's a pretty tough kid. So I like that one. I'm a Jaden Reed fan from last year. So that's
Same.
music to my ears. I love
So people forget, like, I feel like LaFleur is kind of on the back. Like, people forget how good of an offensive mind he actually is.
He's really good.
I think he's grown throughout the years too. I
hate Green Bay, but he is a good coach.
I mean, here in Minnesota, yeah, it sucks. Three straight quarterbacks they hit in a row, and Minnesota.
Yeah, and look
has
at all those
everybody
Green
falling.
Bay Packers stores they have in the Mall
Minnesota,
of America.
they hire 3 a year.
Yeah, so I'm just so happy Jordan Love panned out, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, way better than Deshaun Kaiser at least, so that's good.
Oh, I still have his jersey, so joke's on you.
Couldn't sell it at a yard sale. I understand. I get it. All right. My next hot take is at the running back position, and it is this. At least 5 running backs taken outside of the top 15 ranked Dynasty running backs will finish inside the top 12 when the season is all said and done. And I'm going to give you the names, and they all present massive values that if you're looking to win now, you can acquire these guys so cheap, and they will pay off hugely at the end of the season. The first one is, let me pull my rankings up here and I'll give it for you. The first one is Jonathan Brooks. He's right at running back 15. I think Jonathan Brooks maybe misses a few games. We saw this happen with Breece Hall. And look how Breece Hall ended last year as the RB2 on a shitty Jets team with a bad line, a bad quarterback. Jonathan Brooks is set up for massive success in Carolina. So I think we're going to see him finish inside the top 12 at the end of the year. So that one's marginal. He's at 15, right? So let's go to the next one. I've got Derrick Henry, who is currently RB20 in Dynasty rankings. I've got Alvin Kamara, who's at RB21. I've got Aaron Jones at RB25, as well as, drumroll for the last one, all the way down at RB31, Brian Robinson Jr. I think those 5 guys that are outside the top 15 in Dynasty ranks right now will all finish as RB1s this year.
I like it.
I can agree with definitely the Derrick Henry and the Alvin Kamara takes. Like 2 older guys that just are electric with the ball in their hands. They have a nose for the end zone. Alvin Kamara, all he's going to do is catch passes and score touchdowns.
As long as Derek Carr's there, he's going to catch a ton of passes.
Yeah,
Derek Carr.
And I tried to get Derrick Henry in here somehow, some way, and you did it pretty well, Doug. He's going to be a beast. He really is.
Yeah.
They've never had a high caliber running back like Derrick Henry in this offense.
I got another hot take with this team, but I feel like the touchdowns.
It's your turn.
He'll be there with the touchdowns, but I'm not sure he'll eclipse the 1,000 yards. That's just
he doesn't need
in a
to.
17-game season. He only needs 60 yards a game.
I don't know, but
He
all
can
right,
get
my next
60 yards in a quarter.
Yeah,
my next hot take. Here it comes. Jordan Love has another great season, and the pass catcher you want isn't a wide receiver, but a tight end. Luke Musgrave becomes a top 6 tight end in Dynasty, but here's the kicker. Tucker Kraft is also a back-end top 12 tight end because they do 12 personnel more, and they get these guys on the field. If you could combine Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft together, they would be
Brock
the
Bowers.
ultimate tight end. They would be
They'd be
insane.
Luke Kraft.
Luke Kraft. Jeez, that is a great name. What is going on?
Tucker Musgrave.
No,
That sounds
Luke
like a
Kraft.
politician on like CNN. Now going
Luke
to Tucker
Kraft.
Musgrave.
Luke Kraft, he owns a cheese company, doesn't he?
But you got
Yeah.
Musgrave, who I think is like the savvy route runner, the guy that is great at getting open. Then Tucker Kraft, you just get him the ball, and it's like yards after the catch machine.
Yeah,
He's a beast. So, I think what we're trying to say here is Jordan Love is the guy you just want because the weapons they have, they're not like, oh, here's that elite guy. But I think they're all above average to the point where you're going to be happy with any of them and having them as like Musgrave. I'm happy if he's my kind of partial tight end. You kind of play him in matchups until you see him explode. And then Dontavian Wicks. I really hope it's Dontavian Wicks, and then
Dude,
Romeo
you were
Dobbs
all
on the
aboard the
outside.
Jaden Reed trade. Now you're wishing for every
I'm
receiver
just saying.
option on Green Bay
mean,
to just
Hope
blow
he-
up into a star.
Pretty much what I'm saying is we don't need
Supernova.
Christian Watson in there. He can just be the big play guy that comes in every now and then. Just get Wicks out in the field, and then Jane Reed in the slot. The tight ends out. Yeah, just throw them all out there. Who cares?
A couple of years ago, I had a hot take that after the Rams won the Super Bowl, that my hot take was that like all the Rams like startup values would decrease the following year, and they did. Thinking about this is that the Green Bay Packers are a team that you fast forward a year from now, look at where their ADPs are now, and they're all going to be better next year.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because they're all relatively values because no one knows how it's going to shake out. If you got Reed, you got Watson, you got Dobbs, you got Wicks, you got Musgrave, you got Kraft, you got Jacobs, you got Lloyd. Like, if this offense is as explosive as we think it's going to be, like, all those guys are going to increase in value. So if you're looking to trade for Green Bay Packers, I would do it now before it's too late, is what I'm saying.
Don't trade for Christian Watson because I do think he is the one that I fear will decline a bunch.
But he also has the highest ceiling.
He's going to be the Treylon Burks. Where it's just like,
we don't say that name here.
Injury, and then you're just like, okay, I'm done. Like, if he doesn't play more than 10 games this year, people are done with him. It's dust in the wind.
And then you buy.
Then you buy for a third, and then you cut him after that year.
Is this still a tight end hot take?
Yes. My hot take is Luke Musgrave will become a top 6 tight end.
James, spice it up a little bit over here.
I'm going to spice it up
train.
a little bit, and Tyler's going to like this one. We know Bijan will get his down in Atlanta. Drake London will too. But Kyle Pitts, he's been a ticking time bomb for the last couple of years. He had that one good blow-up rookie season that we all wish continued. And now is the time to get back on that hype train, dude. I believe that Kyle Pitts will be a top 3 tight end this season. And I guess I should have saved the tight end hot take for the end, because that's what I normally do and I usually hit it. But I really do believe it. If we look back to when Cousins was in Minnesota, Hawkinson was a tight end 3. We still had Justin Jefferson doing his thing. And Zach Robinson knows how to get his playmakers the ball. You look at Puka, you look at Cooper Kupp. And while Bijan and London will definitely get theirs, Pitts definitely benefits from an upgrade at QB, NOC, and I think he gets the job done, finishes his top 3 tight end.
I love that. It's because this is a make or break year for Pitts.
Yeah.
That's another guy that if he doesn't do it this year,
it's the first time in his career he would be inside the top 5. So top 3, a little extra spicy.
Where do you think his value goes if he doesn't produce?
If he doesn't produce, he winds up like floundering a little bit to like maybe tight end 10 or 11.
People will always take a hit of the hopium with Kyle Pitts because just like we've done for the last 2 years, like even if he doesn't have say this year he goes for 65, 8, and 6. Normally that's a tight end 1.
Yeah.
People are still going to be pissed.
Yeah.
They'll be Kyle pissed is what they'll be.
They've been Kyle Pissed.
That's going to be a great name. Kyle Pissed.
I have him on a couple teams. If he doesn't pan out this year, I'm changing the team name to Kyle Pissed.
That's great.
That is good.
All right,
yeah, but like you said, that's a great year.
Yeah. So I think that's not enough for people because they see the 1,000-yard rookie year, the transcendent talent, and it's just not going to be enough. He needs to go like off.
If he gets 9,
really feel satisfied.
If he fulfills his receiving opportunities the way I expect him to in that offense, like he could be looking at 800 to 900 yards receiving and then like 8 touchdowns. That would be enough.
I mean, if he gets 8 touchdowns this year, that's more than he has in his entire career. So that would be awesome.
Also, rumor has it he came into camp out of shape. So not a great
Yeah,
start.
but out of shape for him is like rocked up to us.
Who isn't out of shape coming into camp?
Yeah,
Look at all those ankles and ACLs.
Someone said on a Twitter that Keenan Allen is up to
McCarthy
like 250
sneezed and
pounds.
he tore his meniscus.
230 pounds.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw him on Hard Knocks, and I'm like, that ain't 230. Like,
Well, he always
come on.
wears-
That was an
he always wears-
embellishment, man. It
he
was
wears
such
that
a
long
bad
sleeve
article.
shirt.
I read that.
Yeah, he
So
wears that long
stupid.
sleeve shirt all the time. It looks like he's 230.
Don't believe everything you read, kids. That's all I'm saying. All right,
Wait, what?
moving on. I've got my wide receiver hot take of the season. This one is going to surprise and shock some people out there. He's currently wide receiver 38 in DLF ranks. And I think he's going to lead the NFL in receptions. Do you have any guesses who this player is?
Wide receiver 30, leading
38.
receptions 38.
38?
Wide receiver
Wow.
38 in DLF ranks.
I'm gonna take a guess, and it's probably someone in the barrel that's probably just been traded. Deontay Johnson.
You
Wow.
fucking nailed it.
That was-
Deontay Johnson is
Right
going
after-
to
You guys missed
lead
me.
is going to lead the NFL in receptions this year. Do you know why that is?
Because Bryce Young doesn't have anyone else to throw to.
He's a target hog. He's the best route runner on the team. They have a crusty Adam Thielen. They have a Jonathan Mingo who's been getting steamed up all offseason. They drafted Xavier Legette, who's been a little dinged up, but he has shown some nice flashes in practices. They don't have a tight end, really. Tommy Tremble's a nice player. Sanders could be something. Deontay Johnson is going to get piped at least 10 targets a game, which last time I checked, that's like 170 targets, which is like Devontae Adams territory, Justin Jefferson territory. And I could see Deontay Johnson being the focus of this offense with Canales there. And they're really relying on him. And, to lead the league, I know CD had a ton of receptions last year, but normally to lead the league in receiving or receptions, it's usually like 120, 125. And I think Deontay is going to do it and shock the world and be the reception leader this year in the NFL.
I like that. I like that take.
It's a
I could
sweet
see it
hot
too.
take.
30% target share, easy.
That's
Yeah,
something
I
that you should put a bet on because I feel like that could happen.
30%.
I'll see if I can find any prop bets.
share of maybe a 50-50 good ball, bad ball passing rate by Bryce Young.
I'm also
unfortunately.
accounting that Bryce Young is going to make a jump under Canales because
Yeah.
Canales, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Bryce could be the next guy. And he's more
Also-
talented than either of those guys, I think.
There's room to grow too because you can't really fall any lower
Well,
than
he's
what
pretty
Bryce Young-
short, so
yeah.
there is room
Did
to
they
grow.
now correct me if I'm wrong. Did they improve the offensive line?
Yeah,
Oh, big time.
interior they
Oh,
paid-
big time over there.
Yeah, man.
paid big time.
Because that's going to be the big yes or no factor in that hot take. But yeah, great take.
All right,
Hopefully.
I got my rookie quarterback one that I always have every year.
Oh, boy.
So Jaden Daniels, he finds early success, but hits a slump midseason because that OC that
Cliff
is there.
Kingsbury?
He has a record of kind of running these offenses that are
He does
easy to
start
figure
hot.
out.
Yeah.
And yes, starts very hot, and then people figure him out. So he has a slump midseason and becomes less valued in Dynasty than Drake May in the end of 2024.
Ooh,
Oh.
sign me up.
So
for
it's a
late
double.
season buy.
It's a double up. So Drake May rises in value and is ahead of Jane Daniels at the end of the year in value because Jane Daniels has a little slumpy poo.
Little slumpy slump.
Little slumpy slump. So that's
mean,
that's my
I
hot
dig
take.
that.
I'm here to see it. I mean, I would love to see Drake May actually do something with the wide receivers that they have in New England. That franchise needs a lot of work. Sorry, Doug.
Oh,
So
no,
does
I
Washington.
totally
So-
agree with you.
So does Washington.
So does New York. All right, I'm not
So-
throwing stones in
and-
glass
and-
houses here.
And I know we've got a good amount of viewers probably yelling at me through the screen. What is this guy talking about? Jane Daniels. Did you see him? He went 2 for 3 against generic
And a
defenses.
rushing touchdown.
I mean, that his read was really good. I mean, the defender though was just standing there and kind of went in, and Daniels was like, "Okay, this is the easiest touchdown I'm ever going to get." But
Mhm.
I mean, he's got the talent; it's there. But my whole entire aspect of it is I don't trust the Commanders' team. I don't trust Kingsbury because I've seen what happens to his quarterback when the offense starts falling apart because he has no idea how to change things up or change in general. So
I just think that Jaden Daniels, I mean, to your point, I mean, you make valid points. I just think that Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray are not one for one in the sense of their rushing ability. I think Jaden Daniels is way further than what we saw Kyler Murray do. Kyler Murray did the 5 to 10 yard scamper really, really fast. He looked like a little micro machine running around the field. Jaden Daniels got some stride, man. He's more on the length of Lamar Jackson rushing than Kyler Murray rushing.
But the issue is Kyler still has like 15 pounds on Jaden Daniels at 5'11".
Daniels, he's going to make some rookie mistakes. All right. He looked great this past weekend because he only needed to do a certain amount of things. He is going to make rookie mistakes. I think
also another line that's suspect.
I'm sure. Like I sold Terry McLaurin pre NFL rookie draft because I knew they were getting a quarterback. Like, I don't want to go through that crap again. That I went with Sam Howell, holding on to Terry McLaurin, middling through my wide receiver 2-3 spot on my fantasy roster. It's just a pain in the butt, and I didn't want to go through it.
You know what I forgot? Arizona got Jonah Williams from the Bengals. If people don't remember him, he was a very highly
playing
recruited
left tackle for them.
Yep.
Yeah, like Arizona's line, wheels up.
James Conner.
I think Arizona's
another guy that could finish top 12 running back, to be honest.
Yeah, Trey Benson could too.
Trey Benson,
he looked great.
Yeah, he did not.
He
did not. Trey Benson did not look good.
You want to talk about a running back? I'll give you a running back. All right. He's my favorite guy from this show. All right. I scouted him a long, long time ago. Well, actually a couple of years ago, maybe. 5th round draft pick out of Notre Dame.
Zach Moss take.
No. I never
know.
really drafted Zach Moss, but I drafted a hell of a lot of Kyren Williams. And he finishes, he's currently ranked on DLF as running back 10 this season. I think he finishes as running back number 2.
Like,
yeah. I mean, Bijan, CMC, I know they are like number 1, number 2, flip-flop them the other way, each way around. You got Breece Hall in there as well. Yeah. But no, I think Kyren, even with the addition of Blake Corum, he can still come out and crush it. It's his backfield to lose. And I don't think he did anything last year outside of getting injured a little bit. He got nicked up, per se. I don't think he did anything to lose his job, and I don't think he will do anything to lose his job again. If anything, it's just going to better him and not get him injured. I think it's a copycat league. We all know this. They saw how wonderful that dual running back threat of Achane and Mostert worked. Same thing in Detroit with Montgomery and Gibbs. They are going to do it in LA this season with Corum and Kyren Williams. And I think Kyren Williams is the big benefactor of it all. And I think he can hit it. RB2 for 2024.
I like that because I think people are sleeping on him, even though
they are definitely downgrading him way too often.
Blake Corum, like, if you hear what they said when they drafted him, like, hey, he reminds us a lot of Kyren. Like, okay, that's your hint 1.
Yeah.
Hint 2 is when they said Blake Corum will get play, but it's Kyron's team when he's healthy.
I think they want to give Kyren. I mean, they had Royce Freeman and Ronnie Rivers behind Kyren last year. When Kyren went down, they didn't lean on running backs. I think what they want to do with Kyren is to keep him fresher, and instead of giving him 25 touches a game, maybe reduce it down to 20 or 18.
Yeah.
And give Corum some run. Keep Kyren fresh, because the thing that he showed was explosiveness. He's active in the pass game. He had some amazing weeks and looked way faster than we ever thought he would be coming out of the combine. So I like that quite a bit. I think the Rams, if Stafford can stay healthy,
4.7.
It was bad. Yeah,
He's
it was.
Still running.
Still runs a 4.7.
What was that wide receiver that
runs
ran
better
like
with pads on?
The slowest
that
time
was
ever?
That was a Florida State an Arkansas receiver.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember the name.
It was like DeMaurier or.
I know what you're talking about, but he was like a 5-star recruit. He was like 6'5".
Slow as tar. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And Audric Esme.
Yeah.
Dean Butler.
So I just want to say I like Audric Esme.
Gerunya Wilson. I got it.
Did not run you.
Did not run. I pulled it out of my brain.
Did not run you that fast.
Nope.
So Audric Esme, I do want to say, I know this is off topic. he looked very slow in the game that I watched.
Javonte is still kind of safe. I don't know.
So apparently Sean Payton said you got to lose weight and you have to
And he did.
when you come back, and he did, and now he's explosive AF and is almost back to what he
He's
was.
trying to get paid.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Good for him.
All right, I'm going to bring you the shocker special of the year with these words that are going to come out of my mouth because
is this your
neither
last
one of you. No, I have other tight ends. This is my tight end take, but I have other tight end takes because I love tight ends.
Just in case I stole one from you or something?
No.
Oh.
So you are not going to think this would ever come out of my mouth. But here it is. Sam Laporta will finish outside the top 5 in tight ends in 2024. And the reason for this is he's going to have touchdown regression. 20% of his points were scored off of his touchdowns last year, getting to 10 touchdowns. I think with a more active Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams' role in the offense, if he stays healthy, Laporta is going to slip down a little bit. He's still going to have a good year, but he'll finish outside the top 5 at the tight end position this year. And we're going to see the Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, Trey McBride, and Brock Bowers in some order.
What about Dalton Kincaid?
Dalton Kincaid's another one. You can throw him in there too.
So Laporta's 7?
He's going to finish outside the top 5. So it's going to be 6, 7. But it's going to be some combination of 5 of those guys that finish ahead of Laporta this year. You know, Laporta was when it comes to the tight end 1 on the season for the points scored, was the lowest that we've seen at the position in like years. So it's all great that he finished as tight end 1. But when we look at history and what it shows us is that he was the weakest tight end 1 we've seen in, I think, almost a decade. So I think the tight end position is going to bounce back a little bit with some stronger performers where Laporta is going to slide. So I'm still okay with him as a top 5 tight end on the season. I love him. As you know, he's my most rostered dynasty player. But there's going to be some regression for Laporta.
So I think, piggybacking on that, I think Trey McBride is, in my heart, the tight end 1 this year.
Yes, I agree with
I would
that.
love
I wanted to make it a hot take, but he's on the top of everybody's board already.
I think he's easily over 1,000, 80 catches, and I would not be shocked if he's 8 to even double-digit touchdowns. I think
McBride is currently tight end 3 in DLF ranks.
Yeah, I mean it's not a hot take, but I think he will be the tight end 1.
It's all laying out for him anyway. You know, they have Marv there to take away everything up top and in around everywhere else, and you know he's going to get his targets.
Yeah, Cecil Lammey said that. Cecil Lammey said on his podcast that Trey McBride is diving, sliding, catching everything.
Yeah, just like he did last year.
Yes. All right, going to my hot take. It's kind of like your Jaden Reed one, but Zay Flowers takes another step with Lamar Jackson and becomes a top 10 dynasty wide receiver.
Okay. I like that.
Short, quick, to the point. But yeah, I think Todd Monken needs to just hyper target him, Andrews likely, and forget about Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, Flowers is currently wide receiver 24 in DLF ranks. So if he had what kind of year would he need to put together to get into that top 10, Tyler? What are we thinking?
Honestly, I would probably say 80 catches, 1,300 yards, and 8 touchdowns receiving, and then probably like 3 on the ground because he can add on to that. So double-digit touchdowns total, and then 80 catches, 1,300.
All right. Well, I only have one more, guys. You know, I'm a busy man nowadays, but
I only have one more.
And
I've got 2.
It was supposed to be JJ McCarthy.
You know what?
But
James, nope. We're gonna pause you. Doug and I are gonna go, and you're gonna be last.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
All right.
So there's your little teaser.
It was gonna be JJ. Just saying.
That's the tease.
Can't use JJ anymore.
My next one is also at the tight end position. Currently tight end 23 in DLF rank. This tight end will finish as a top 10 tight end in 2024, which he's done in years past. He's got a new offensive coordinator. He's got a long-term extension on that team. The OC that came in runs his offense through the tight end, and they don't have a lot of established pass catchers on this offense. but they've got a veteran quarterback with a hot rookie right behind him. That tight end that'll finish in the top 10 is Hunter Henry. Go get him now.
Ooh.
Go get him now. Remember, to finish as a top 10 tight end, 6,705, 6.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry can do that. And they've been featuring him in this offseason. He's looked great in preseason. He knows the offense. Van Pelt loves the tight end, especially if Drake May becomes a starter. Hunter Henry is like the perfect safety blanket for Drake May. So for me, Hunter Henry returns. It's been a while, but he returns to the top 10 tight end finish.
I like it.
I like it. I like that.
All right. This is my juiciest one. Devon Achane plays a full season, fully healthy, and doesn't get more carries. But his efficiency stays the same, and he becomes the RB1 in Dynasty next season. This is all based off, next season in startups and everything. He is
I hate
the
this take
RB1.
so much.
But Achane, just the efficiency stays. The offense carries him. I was going to go Jalen Wright. Takes over for Raheem Mostert and becomes a top 15 Dynasty running back. But Devon Achane, I think it's there. If he can stay healthy, I think this is easy. I honestly would not be shocked if he is a top 3 Dynasty running back, but that's not hot enough. He's going to be the RB1 next year because he is just running for 6 to 7 yards per carry. Just efficient.
No way.
He's Jamal Charles-esque. That's
better
running
than Jamal
rampant.
Charles.
Yeah. And you know what? Jamal Charles did it off 15 carries. You know, he shared carries with Thomas Jones. And so here we are, Doug, just filling your life with just love for players that you absolutely love.
Yeah, B. Cole in the chat says he can't sell Hunter Henry for anything in a rebuild.
You can't buy him for anything either. You just usually pick him
I
up off the waivers.
I went out and bought Hunter Henry. I bought it from Tyler. Yeah,
$30.
I'll take it. I needed Hawkinson went down.
Trade
I needed
some
a startable
fab,
tight end. 100%. You can get him. I have one more take, and then we'll get to James. It's a quick one.
I have 2 now. I can throw my other one in there.
All right,
yeah.
Save the spiciest for last.
Yeah, I'll save the spiciest for last. I will go with my quarterback take. And that is Sam Darnold. We'll see so many ghosts in Minnesota. No, sorry.
We already had a Sam Darnold take his rookie year, and I was absolutely wrong on that.
Absolutely wrong on that one. Well, maybe it's his swan song of the year. I do believe that he's going to actually be a QB1 at the end of the season. He's going to finish as QB12.
Don't watch tape videos
We've
from
seen
today.
weirder things happen.
Yeah, I mean, the weapons are there, and we mentioned that before in
Blake
the opening
Bortles
of the show.
was a QB1 a bunch of times.
With J.J. McCarthy, he was going to be there. He was going to come in. I think Sam Darnold, they were lining him up to be like the pincushion or what's that called? Like crash dummy.
Bridge quarterback?
Well, yeah, that too.
The sacrificial.
Sacrificial
lamb.
quarterback. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Sacrificial quarterback. But no, the weapons are there. Hawkinson, Addison, JJ, Aaron Jones. We all know this. And I think he's just going to have to throw it for his life. I don't think they can really run the ball. Ty Chandler's there. I'm sorry. I know Tyler loves Chandler.
Chandler Bong.
But I really think that one of these guys we're actually going to hit that QB 12 mark. Similar to what Sam Howell was doing last year. The offense wasn't really running through the run game, and they were just forced to pass. And with the weapons around them, I think he could do it. I think he could sneak into the top 12 quarterbacks.
Can I tell you something?
And then
the Vikings are going to be a top 5 pick.
Oh, yeah.
They have gotten hit. They're
going to be throwing for their life. But that's how Sam Howell was so fantasy relevant last year. He was throwing for his life 48 times a game.
There's 2 players you want from this team. It's Aaron Jones and it's Justin Jefferson. And you're done.
I don't even know if I want Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I really want Justin Jefferson right now.
The offensive line is really
top 12 running back. Okay.
The offensive line is good still. It's good. Darnold is not. Like they showed videos from camp today, and he threw like this ugliest pick, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, but
there he
their
is.
defense, they lost some pieces.
But it's
on
just training camp.
defense.
That's when you get that out of your system, Tyler. Didn't we just have this
Yeah.
argument earlier?
They
Yeah,
lost some
that's
pieces
true.
on defense. I think they're going to wind up throwing the ball a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
they're going to be one of those like pass funnel type of offenses because their defense is just it's not.
Also,
doing
go
them
by
any
Jordan
favors.
Addison. Do yourself a favor.
No.
He's cheating.
All right, I've got
Don't do
one
it.
more hot take. This tight end is currently tight end 32. He has finished as a tight end 1 at least the last 3 seasons. He's going to be a fantasy cheat code at his current ADP, and especially as he gains position eligibility.
Oh God.
That tight end is Taysom Hill.
Gross.
He will
Gross.
also finish in a top 12 tight end. You say it's gross, but look at the stats every year. They are embracing the Taysom Hill experiment, is everything that Dennis Allen is saying and what's coming
Dennis
out
Allen
of camp.
is terrible.
They're going to line him up at receiver, fullback, quarterback, running back, tight end,
Puke bucket.
amazeballs. You can puke all you want, but you can pick him up for free, and he's going to be startable.
I'd rather pick myself up and throw myself over a bridge. I'm not doing the Taysom Hill
I
experience
call you
again.
bluff. Call you
James,
bluff.
I did it in the analyst league. I decided, hey, I'm going to try to go for it. And I had Taysom Hill as my backup tight end. It was not fun trying to figure out, okay, do I play
That
him?
backfired.
Is this it? It was not fun. I will tell you, it is not fun.
But
It's
if
like
you
having
spin the wheel and you hit it right and he gets you 3 touchdowns,
it's like
you
having
win your
Derek
week.
Carr. It's like having Derek Carr as your quarterback too. It's not fun. You hate the ride. You never wanted to go on it, but you're forced on it.
yeah. So Taysom Hill, he's going to do it again, and it's going to be wild to see. That's my last hot take.
Gross.
That's wild.
I'm just gonna
James,
slide
wrap-
one in.
Oh, yeah, slide
Spencer
one in
Rattler
now.
comes in the last 5 games and
does well. And he does.
shows something and is the full-time starter for 2025 for the Saints as they go offensive line early in the 2025.
They're going to have
draft.
to.
Yeah, they need it.
All right, James, take us home.
I'll take you home.
Set us on
With
fire and take us home.
A super hot take.
Yes.
All right. We all love Breece Hall. We do.
Uh-oh.
And I don't wish ill to anyone playing a sport, but I don't think that Breece, every year you look at it, one of the main Jets hurts themselves. And I don't know if Breece can actually play a full season. You know, we've seen him in, we've seen him out. Kind of struggled a little bit to get back on the field last season after the big injury year. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the injured person this year. But Braylon Allen from Wisconsin, my guy, he was actually one of my big favorites as far as tape goes. He's a different beast. He's a big size running back. I think he leads all fantasy rookie running backs in touchdowns and in rushing yards this year.
That's a spicy one.
You need a Breece injury for it to happen. So
110%. We saw a little bit of a touch of what he can do during preseason. And Robert Saleh, well, obviously he doesn't scout anyone. Saleh doesn't even know who he has on his team. But
He's not a good coach.
no, he's not. But he was like, oh, wow, he can do that? Oh, we need to use him more. Like, no, you dummy. Like, you should be using him all the time. Breece Hall should not be on the field 24/7. He is too expensive, too unique of a talent to be wasted every single down. It's the same reason why Jahmyr Gibbs is who he is. I mean, the only one that's we've seen do it year in, year out is CMC.
Uh-huh.
You know, and there's only one CMC. So for that reason, I think Braylon Allen can actually take a step up and be rookie running back number 1.
here's my take. The Jets are one of the worst teams in the league. Nobody except Breece is on that team next year.
I don't even think, well, we'll stay in that division. I don't
Wilson
think
will
the
be on the
Bills
team.
make the
No,
playoffs.
I think Garrett Wilson will be one of those players that ask for a trade.
I believe Miami makes it and then move along.
I think the Jets are going to be a wreck. Just
Defense is
a
good, though.
wreck.
Defense is good.
Hey, Jalen Ramsey got out of Jacksonville. You never know. Sauce could ask out.
True. B-Call in the chat says, bonus take, who finishes as the starting quarterback for the Steelers?
You want like next year's starter or this
It just
year?
says who finishes as the starting
Trubisky.
quarterback. I want to say Justin Fields finishes as the starter because Russ, I think, is gonna.
You
The
think he's
Steelers
cooked?
want to at least go 8-8 or 9-8
thought-
every year.
I had a feeling that Justin Fields was going to be a part of that Ayuk trade.
Why?
I mean, everyone could have
Who
had
do they
Fields
have?
for a 7th round pick,
Who
and
do
no
they
one
have
wanted him.
behind it? Who do they have behind Purdy?
I'm gonna say.
He
I'm
looked
gonna
terrible.
say
He
it's.
I watched like 10 minutes of that game, and he
They have
fumbled 3
Josh
times.
Dobbs. I'm gonna say it's Russ. To be honest, like
Okay.
everything I've heard with Fields is everything's still the same. They Tomlin pretty much said, hey, all these mechanics stuff that you've been working on, forget it. Just go back to what you did in Ohio State. And
Just run the ball.
yeah, he's going to be a slash type player for him. He'll be in here and there. But if Russ is healthy, I think it's going to be Russ.
Do you think he could transition to like the tight end position, like a
No,
Okay,
Like a Taysom
Maybe-
Hill.
like a Taysom Hill.
maybe he's like a Terrell Pryor type player that
East
after
Coast
like
Taysom Hill.
dumpster fire Terrell Pryor.
like if Terrell Pryor like he tried
He
for
had a
quarterback for
1,000-yard
a while.
receiving season.
And then
Yeah,
fell
like-
off the face of the earth the next season.
He signed the
Okay.
big deal with the
Killed my year.
Skins.
I had David Johnson and
Whoa.
Terrell Pryor in the top 3. Same year.
That's rough.
Season-
That's
Worst draft
Hey,
ever.
that's
2017.
dynasty. That's dynasty for you.
That's just fantasy and
Josh Gordon says, hold my weed.
Yeah.
I think Izzy still rosters him. Anywho,
Yes.
all right, that is going to wrap us up for the hot take episode. James, take us out of here. Where can we find you? What are you working on?
I mean, I'm not really working too much. Maybe on my beer belly a little bit. My dad bod. It's the summertime
Nice.
here in Jersey.
It's dad bod season.
Yeah, it's dad bod season. But no, I am getting in shape for the regular season. I do still plan on doing the fantasy football Sunday tilt every Sunday during the season, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's live, commercial free. Starts it with my 2 best friends ever. And check us out on the Tilt is Real YouTube channel and on Twitter. You can follow me at the FF_chef.
I don't
Excellent.
remember doing another podcast. Doug, do you remember doing another podcast? He said 2 best friends ever. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know who he's talking about.
I've invited both of you, and Doug doesn't get up until it's like noon, and Tyler.
No,
don't
I get
know.
up. I'm usually on the road to my aunt's house to watch football. So
And I'm the one
timing is a
that
little
doesn't.
sus.
I don't get up till 9:30 if possible.
Yeah, well, and you're an hour behind me. That just doesn't work.
I'm always behind you.
Ooh. All right, that is going to wrap us up. Thanks for joining us, James. We will talk to
wrap
you
it up
soon.
behind me. Oh my god.
Yeah, please wrap it up. You don't want to get any weird shit. But anyway, Tyler, thanks for being you and giving us some spicy takes.
Some
And
disgusting
we're gonna get
comments.
out of here. Human Centipede Gunther signing off, and I'm Doug. We'll see you next week on the Dynasty Happy Hour.